Good morning. I am Chaplain Rhonda Good. I asked Donna Pricely to read Numbers 13. I took out some of the lists of names and of people and places so we have a smoother story.
The Lord said to Moses, "Send some men to explore the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelites. From each ancestral tribe, send one of its leaders." So at the Lord's command, Moses sent them out from the desert of Paran. All of them were leaders of the Israelites. When Moses sent them to explore Canaan, he said, "Go up through the Negev and on into the hill country, and see what the land is like, and whether the people who live there are strong or weak, few or many. What kind of land do they live in? Is it good or bad? What kind of towns do they live in? Are they unwalled or fortified? How is the soil? Is it fertile or poor? Are there trees in it or not? Do your best to bring back some of the fruit of the land." It was the season for the first ripe grapes. So they went up and explored the land, and when they reached the valley of Eshcol, they cut off a branch bearing a single cluster of grapes. 2 of them carried it on a pole between them, along with some pomegranates and figs. At the end of 40 days, they returned from exploring the land. They came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community. There they reported to them and to the whole assembly and showed them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account: "We went into the land to which you sent us, and it does flow with milk and honey. Here is its fruit. But the people who live there are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there." Then Caleb silenced the people before Moses and said, "We should go up and take possession of the land, for we can certainly do it." But the men who had gone up with him said, "We can't attack those people. They are stronger than we are." And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those living in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them."
The differences in perspective in this story are fascinating. God sent all 12 men on the same mission. They all heard the same instructions given by Moses, and they all went to the same land and saw the same things. But Joshua and Caleb had a very different perspective than the other 10 men. All 12 men saw that the land was flowing with milk and honey, and they all saw huge bunches of grapes that grew in the land, and all 12 men saw the giants who lived there and the fortified cities. But 2 of them saw the opportunity to take the land, and they believed it was possible. Let's think about some of the events before the Israelites reached the Promised Land. They had been rescued out of 400 years of slavery. They had walked through the Red Sea and watched the Egyptian army drowned. They had been miraculously guided through the wilderness, and God promised them a land flowing with milk and honey. Miracle after miracle. Joshua and Caleb saw scary things and trusted God, encouraging the Israelites to believe God's promises. "Let us go up at once and take possession, for we can certainly conquer," they said. The other 10 spies saw scary things and doubted God. "We are not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. They said they saw giants, and we were like grasshoppers compared to them." That lack of faith spread like an infection through the entire congregation of Israelites, who promptly forgot all the miracles they had seen, and they doubted the nature of God. They did not trust in God. Sometimes it is difficult for us to remember how God has been faithful in our lives, and it is a challenge to trust that God will take care of us. Sometimes we face what feels like a giant. We might feel like a little grasshopper in a land of giants. Sometimes we need friends and family, or maybe a pastor, to believe for us and walk with us until we are able to reach a place where we are able to trust that God cares and is with us just as God promised. And other times we might feel like Caleb and Joshua, and we can see and believe that God is taking care of us. As I was preparing for this devotional, I was reminded of when my husband and I decided to become foster parents. We had months of training and home studies and over 100 pages of paperwork. Finally, we were approved and ready to go. But all of that couldn't fully prepare us. When I got the call to come to Reading Courthouse to pick up a 3-year-old boy, I was excited but incredibly nervous. Over the next few weeks, I wondered why God thought we could do this. This boy was often sweet, but when something triggered a traumatic memory, he flew into a rage and became physically aggressive. This was a daily occurrence, and I quickly became mentally and physically exhausted. I had the assurance that God had clearly called us to become foster parents, but I frequently needed friends and family to pray and believe with me, and sometimes for me, that I could handle these tough situations. Eventually, that little boy was adopted by a family. By the time he left our home, with the help of an amazing therapist, he had made great progress. And years later, I reconnected with him on Facebook. Now he has a little girl of his own. He is 28 years old. A few months ago, he found the photo album I made from his time living at our house, and he told me he loved looking at pictures of himself as a child and comparing his looks with his daughter's looks. He has no pictures from the first 3 years of his life until he came to our house, so this photo album was incredibly special to him. As we messaged back and forth, I finally decided to ask him if he would like to get together with me halfway in between our houses. He lives in Maryland and is a Maryland state trooper. He was thrilled that I asked. So we met at a Starbucks and spent a long time catching up. The traumatized little boy who sent my world into a whirlwind 25 years ago has experienced so much healing by the grace of God and is a successful young man. I would never have dreamed that life would turn out this way for him. But God knew, and God brought people around my husband and me to believe in the good and have faith and see possibilities that I couldn't always see. One of my favorite songs when I am feeling overwhelmed is "Guide Me, O Thou Great Jehovah." As our prayer today, Hunter will play a video of Caleb Brasse playing this song, and it has the lyrics with the video. I invite you to sing along and allow God's strength to fill you.